Let's talk about the connection to brain fog and mental health because we don't talk enough about some of these root causes that can be undermining attention. And brain fog, there really is a link between brain fog and mental health, right? When we are feeling unclear, we can't think straight, and that can make us tired and cranky and irritable. So let's talk about why that happens, right? So there's often a connection to brain fog and things like I mentioned, ADHD, anxiety, depression. It can be present. And why? What is it? What can be causing some of these things? So autoimmune conditions can lead to brain fog, and brain fog is different than things like ADHD because it is often temporary, right? ADHD falls under that neurodivergence umbrella. It means the brain is different. It is typically a condition that you see right from childhood when we're asking kids to do non-preferred interests, activities, or we are asking them to sit for long periods of time. You start to see differences in how one pays attention. And remember, we're becoming an increasingly neurodivergent society, and we shouldn't try to put people in a box. And kids sometimes get labeled as having quote unquote bad behavior when they're just a neurodivergent, and we need to be more supportive of that. But in this link, why does it happen? So autoimmune, I see it frequently in my PANDAS folks. I see it in also as a result of psychiatric medications can leave you struggling. You can see it in other areas as well. I'm sure I left it out, but often it is there as a temporary thing related to a mental health issue. And, that results from medication or there's a medical problem. So, whenever your brain feels foggy and you really don't think there's something going on in your life on the emotional side, really seek medical support. That's important because it can be a sign of something else. So it is associated, as we said, with many of those mental health conditions. It's also associated with stress. So it's very important when you have brain fog to look at your lifestyle, right? What are you eating? What are you doing? But we want brain calming strategies as well. And food allergies can lead to mental health related brain fog. There can be brain fog on its own. I don't want to diminish the importance of diet when we feel that our brain isn't working properly. Sleep problems can be behind it. There are just so many things that can lead to brain fog. But again, it's different than a clinical disorder because a clinical disorder has been there a while. Brain fog, hopefully, is temporary, right? And I think we've all experienced it, whether you've had a hormone change or you're struggling. Who didn't have COVID brain fog? That was the worst. Not to say that it's not as bad as, certainly not as bad as people that I know that had some really serious medical problems, but there's some kind of trigger. So reducing stress is often a way to really help us regulate our brain, of course. And we need to think about what are brain calming strategies for the nervous system when we have brain fog issues, right? So, number one, the quickest way you're going to support your nervous system, truly the quickest way, is breath work. And when we're talking about breath work, there are many different types of breathing techniques. They're all great as we just want to make sure we're doing what's called diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing. So we're going to make sure that when we breathe in, we're going to fill up our belly like a balloon and we're going to breathe out. And if you're watching me or you're listening to me, my absolute favorite type of breath is a 4-7-8 breath. So where you're breathing in for 4 seconds, I like to go 5 seconds. You're holding for 7, and then you're doing a much longer exhalation, 8 seconds or more. And when you do that, in that exhalation, you're pushing yourself into that beautiful, calm parasympathetic state. And we want to do this quite a bit. People always say to me, how often should I do breath work? I mean, I try to do it a minimum, intentionally, at least 3 times a day. I catch myself doing it all the time. Today's a busy day, and I was like in between. I was like, what can I do? What can I do? We can always do breath work, right? I'll be doing some nice stretching after being, recording all day. What are other brain tools that can be really helpful when you are struggling with um, brain fog? So we want to get our nervous system regulated. We want to help support, right? And we go into a parasympathetic state. If we have autoimmune, if we have PANDAS, if we have clinical conditions, if we're struggling with the detoxification of a psychiatric medication, we need to get our lymphatics going. We need to help our detox system, and reducing stress is a big part of that. So, certainly, my favorite brain tools: neurofeedback, biofeedback, PEMF. We have our own calm PEMF device, and a PEMF works to support the cells. It changes the way the cells are talking. Our specific device is designed to improve detoxification, which is going to reduce neuroinflammation. Brain fog can result from neuroinflammation from those autoimmune conditions, chronic stress. I mean, geez, it's there, and it's affecting pretty much most people at some point, hopefully temporarily. And Also, biofeedback is there's many forms of biofeedback. I love heart math, where you're making a conscious control of your breath. You're syncing it with your heart rate, and it uses a device, a pacer, to show you it. It's lovely. It's clinically approved. It's inexpensive. It's great. It's just harder for most people, where neurofeedback is working at the subconscious level, even though it's a big undertaking of your investment of time and money and resources. It is working at that subconscious level. So it's like a Big Mac. It just starts working. And PMF is easy because it's our devices, be calm anywhere on the go with calm PMF. You just pop it in your pocket and you go. And you can have it working while you're sleeping or anywhere. So brain tools can be really helpful. And in brain tools, I can't forget supplements. I can't forget, things that help the brain work better. Things like lion's mane, or your B12, or magnesium, right? Your multi-mag brain formula. If you're interested in that, you can go to drroseann.com/magnesium. This is an amazing, amazing form of magnesium, designed with L-glycinate and L-threonate. They are the most bioavailable forms available to help your brain work better. It supports the nervous system in calming and detoxification, and clinically proven to support attention and learning. So it's an essential, and you always want to check with your provider. But magnesium is very safe. And we are often deficient in it, but you and your provider can decide that together. So, besides working on brain tools and breath work, mindfulness, right? So we have to slow down, we have to power down to power up. And if you're feeling like you're brain foggy, right? You're easily bored, your brain just feels lack of clarity, you can't retrieve words. We have to do things to calm down. And being mindful, right? That can involve breath work, that can involve yoga, walking, but it means we have to quiet. And that is an important part of your healing journey. And know that if you have brain fog, it's sudden, you're unsure what's going on, go to a medical professional, get yourself checked out. Could be hormones, it could be autoimmune, it could be tick-borne illness, it could be uh, you're eating like garbage. And these are all things that you can get to the root causes of, and you can help your brain to work better. You can be more alert, you can be more positive and energetic. So, brain fog is one of those things that everybody wants to talk to me about. And whether it's your child or yourself, there are solutions that can help.